A beautiful evening to you and welcome to yet another glorious edition of Sport Extra on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Emmanuel Michael and I'm glad to be here this evening to bring you up to speed with the latest sporting stories right here on Atlantic Television Network. On a big talking point on the show this evening, Super Eagles head coach Eric Chell over the weekend unveiled a 24-man squad for Thursday's World Cup qualifier against Gabon. And I can tell you that the Super Eagles camp is beginning to bubble as we hear that about 12 players has already hit camp. And of course, Arsenal over the weekend dropped a 2-point against Sunderland. And some have said Arsenal, if care is not taken, they might just lose this particular one because they are 4 points better off than Manchester City, who beat Liverpool 3-0 over the weekend. Plus, big stories happening in the Nigerian Premier Football League. We had a very disturbing stories regarding Katsina United as their fans went on rampage. And the hammer of the Nigerian Premier Football League have hit hard against Katsina United. We'll do well to bring you some of these interesting gist. Plus, many other football stories that is set to come your way this evening on the show. But you know how we do it. I will take a quick break. When I'm back, I will certainly introduce my guest because we'll have a very big guest on the show this evening. Just stick around because it promises to be a massive show this evening. Don't go anywhere because I'll be back in a jiffy. All right, you're welcome back from that short break. Joining me via the Zoom line this evening are two gentlemen. I can announce to you that Mr. Jimmy joins me. I call him FIFA ambassador. He's one man who truly understands the business of talking sport. He joined me via the Zoom. Mr. Jimmy, good evening and welcome to Atlantic Television Network.
Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate this privilege to be with you here.
All right, also joining us via the Zoom line is no other person than Ekpo Temple. Temple, good evening and welcome to Sport Extra. Hello, Temple, please try to unmute your mic. Temple, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
Better.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. All right. Let's get started with Mr. Jimmy. Mr. Jimmy, the Nigerian Premier Football League has handed Katsina United a total sum of 9 million naira for alleged crowd invasion and a threat to players' life. Coupled with the 9 million naira, they have been also ordered to play all their remaining home games behind closed doors in Jos following incidents of violence during their 1-1 draw with Barau FC on Saturday. In a statement released yesterday, the league body charged Katsina United with multiple breaches of its framework and rules, including failure to provide adequate security and failure to control their supporters. The league said the unauthorized persons gained access to restricted areas, while fans also threw harmful objects onto the pitch, resulting in the injury to Barau FC players. So they have been handed a sum of 9 million naira in total, and they have, of course, have been ordered to play their remaining matches behind closed doors. Mr. Jimmy, you are one man who truly, is invested with the knowledge of how these things works, especially in the Nigerian Premier Football League. Crowd trouble has been the bane, especially I don't want to go regional, but then if you realize, you discover that this crowd trouble most at times has always come from, our brothers region, talking about the north. Just a few weeks ago, Kano Pillars were also slammed with the same, fine, cause of a crowd problem. What must we do in order to combat these ugly stories?
All right, thank you so much. There are a lot we need to do. Number one, I want to commend the NPFL for what they are doing, especially Honorable Benga. He came on board and set the record straight without missing well. He has been somebody I admire so much, and I pray to meet him one-on-one. And the way he has been able to restructure the league, I think it may not yield dividend the way we are expecting it now. It's going to yield so much dividend because we are beginning to restructure and position the way things ought to be. Now, coming back to your question, it's the right direction we are actually working towards. Because football, one, is not a do or die affair. Two, is a business. Sports is a business. Football is a business. So if the actors of the game, their life is not secure, then there is no hope for the business. There is no hope for the sports. And we all know that football is one of the most commercialized sports in the world. So somebody out there, because of lack of knowledge or because of somebody's carelessness or group of persons' carelessness, cannot sabotage what Honorable Benga and his crew and other people are doing to restructure our football. I think they've done very well with
Hello, Mr. Jimmy, are you there? Hello, are you there? All right, we are facing some, network issues from his end, though. I'll do well to, of course, see if we can be able to re-establish that connection with Mr. Jimmy. I don't know if Temple is still on the line with us. Temple, are you there? Hello, Temple, are you there? All right, we'll do it to re-establish a connection with, our Zoom guests on the show this evening. But we can tell you that Katsina United have been slammed 9 million naira, courtesy of, crowd problems out there in the Nigerian Premier Football League game that went down over the weekend against Barau FC. And of course, they've also been ordered to play their remaining matches behind closed doors. What simply means is that there is not going to be fans, to cheer them whenever they get to play. And these are some of the punishments that the NPFL board has put in place. Although some persons alleged that the report was over-exaggerated, some have said it is the away fans that probably might have thrown some of those objects. Hence, there is no camera to actually fish out the true perpetrators of these heinous acts. So it remains to be seen. But then the league body has given Katsina United about 24 hours to, of course, drop their own thought and make their own, position clear. Well, it looks as though Temple is back on the line with us. Temple, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear. Can you hear me now?
All right, better. I was asking Mr. Jimmy about the ugly incidents of crowd trouble we witnessed over the weekend in the game between Katsina United and Barau FC that led to the injury to some of those players. And the NPFL board has come hard against Katsina United, 9 million naira fine, and they've also been ordered to play their next remaining matches behind closed doors. This issue, some have said that it was overly exaggerated. Which side of the divide are you? Because we are still confused whether it is the fans of the home team, talking about Katsina United, that actually went overboard to attack the players of Barau FC, or the fans of Barau FC maybe were the one that fermented that problem. I don't know what you make of this story.
I think that is very unfortunate. It's unfortunate that these things are happening in our league. Very unfortunate. And I think that the NPFL framework is very plain when it comes to security of lives and properties when it comes, during match days. Now, what I think is, you know for sure that you need to have police wardens that will guide the stadium in every given match. So it is expedient on the home team to also prepare and align their thoughts in that direction. Prepare and ensure that safety is enshrined. Prepare and ensure that they do not go against the norms of or the dictates of what is in the framework. So even if it's, we want to say it's our wayside, how possible is that? So do you think that our wayside will not come to your stadium and ferment trouble just because they want to implicate you? I don't agree. You see, I'm not biased when it comes to regional activities, but I think that the Northerners are beginning to show that they can, ferment some challenges whenever they need matching point. Because try to from home and play and get draw. I don't see that as a problem. It is very low see. I think that the best is to partnership. But then NFL board have done needful, try to build, I don't know, but since the most they will be given at the end of the league, so it's not paying them. Get a point deduction and the NFL board have done so well. But I also feel that
Temple, we are really struggling with your line this evening on the show. I don't know if Mr. Jimmy is back with us. Let's try and see if we can be able to re-establish that connection with Mr. Jimmy. Mr. Jimmy, are you there?
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry for the network.
I understand. Now, you talk about the 3-point deduction and fine. Is that good enough if we truly want to maintain the integrity of the Nigerian Premier Football League?
Yes. To me, I quite agree with them. Deduction of 3-point, payment of 9 million, and every other match is played under closed door. It's going to tell on the players psychologically, emotionally. It's going to tell on the club financially too, because gate fees will not be collecting. In all ramifications, it's going to affect them. So that they will know what to do at the right time. Because for me, it is the duty of the home team to provide security. So you can't just allow anybody to come to your house and do whatever they want, because it's going to bring the league to disrepute. So the league management will not entertain that, because now they just signed a deal, a sponsorship deal of recent. So what do you expect the sponsor of the league to hear? That look at what is happening to MPFL. So I quite agree with them, and I stand by them for taking such decision.
All right, stand by them for taking such a drastic decision towards curbing crowd trouble. However, I tell you, it is not a good one for our league, because it paints a bad image to the Nigerian Premier Football League right here, while we are trying to, of course, walk around the clock to ensure that we have a very befitting league. Some persons are trying to punctuate the effort of Benga Elegbeleye and, of course, his board. Such wild hammer need to be wielded against those who go contrary to extant laws which governs the game. Football is a game of unity, and this is what we want to see going forward. Meanwhile, other results that came through in the Nigerian Premier Football League over the weekend saw, Katsina United play 1-1 against Barao FC. Abia Warriors were held at home by Enyimba. 0-0 it ended. In Enugu Rangers beat Shooting Stars 1-0. Kano Pillars played 0s against Bayelsa United. Nasarawa United also played 1-1 against Kwara United. Wiki Tories beat Niger Tornadoes in that very one over the weekend. But beyond that, Mr. Jimmy, let's head straight to the Super Eagles camp and take a look at what is happening there. Just a few hours ago, we heard that about 12 players have hit the Super Eagles camp, and the camp is gradually bubbling right now with just 9 or more players to make up the number. And this match comes up on Thursday, a few days from now, talking about the World Cup playoff between the Super Eagles against Gabon. Mr. Jimmy, you are one man who is truly passionate about the Super Eagles. You'll be following their games, and of course you are in tune with how rigorous a process it was for the Super Eagles to get to this point. Even when it was looking as though they are not going to make the World Cup, they now have a second chance, a lifeline. How will you expect Eric Chell to approach this game that comes up on Thursday?
Well, every Nigerian like myself, is expecting the best from the Super Eagles and Coach Chile. And it's you like you rightly said, it's a lifeline. So this lifeline will never be wasted. So it's a lifeline that will take us to the World Cup, because as we stand right now, every Nigerian wants to see the Super Eagles in the World Cup. So and I believe strongly that they will not take it for granted. I want to see Osimhen play in the World Cup. Like I want to see other players in the World Cup. And you will agree with me that it's going to put a lot of smile in the face of Nigeria. So it's something we are going through. Though prayer does not win matches, it's something we will pray. I said prayer does not win matches. It is hard work.
True.
So it's something that we will not take for granted. It's not going to be wasted. So this lifeline will take us to the World Cup. I assure you.
Talking about the lifeline taking us to the World Cup, the Gabonese, they are also talking tough. The old war horse, you might want to call him Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, one player that have traveled far and wide. He's played, with Marseille, played with, Barcelona, Arsenal, Chelsea Football Club, name it. Among many other good players, we still have Lima, former Juventus player, now plays in the English Premier. They have great squad as well. In fact, en route to this World Cup playoff, they garnered about 25 points, better compared to the Super Eagles. Should we be afraid of Gabon?
Well, the fact that there's no underdog in football today, in African football, Gabon is not a team that the great Super Eagles should be afraid of. And I quite agree that they have good players, quality players, and I respect them. But we too, we have good players. We have great players too. But when it comes to issue of using calculator, issue of using lifeline, you know, we are very good at it. That's where we have found ourselves. So I believe the God that did it before will do it again. Like I said, prayer will not win matches. But I strongly believe and I know this lifeline is going to work for us. We understand that they are talking tough, but talk is cheap. So 90 minutes we decide it on the pitch. So I believe, I'm so optimistic about this, that Nigeria is surely going to win the World Cup. It's our time.
Still talking about our time, let's of course take a look at you know, what has happened building up to this very game. So many Nigerians are not very much comfortable. In fact, I can tell you that many Nigerians are not happy by the decision of FIFA to appoint about 4 South African officials. In fact, the center ref of that match is a South African. The VAR ref is also a South African. 4 South African officials to officiate that game. You and I, we know the frosty relationship between the Bafana of South Africa and the Super Eagles. In fact, their sport minister said at some point that he does not wish the Super Eagles to qualify because, in his words, he thought that the Super Eagles played key role in you know, causing them to forfeit 3 points and 3 goals, courtesy of fielding in an ineligible player in the person of Tiboko Mokoena. So, do you think that FIFA are being insensitive of the magnitude of this game, bringing 4 South African officials, knowing fully well that we were in the same group with this same South Africa?
Well, I have little or nothing to say about this because one of the uncontrollable factors in football is the officials, the match officials, the referees. And I really do not want to talk much in this area because it's one of the uncontrollable factors. Now, coming back to what the minister publicly said, what he said publicly is all about the social media. I think it's not supposed, a man of that status is not something he's supposed to go out and say. But however, I believe the CAF is big enough, CAF is sensible enough, and the appointment committee that appointed them, they are all sensitive enough, they've heard of all this to take their decision. I think that's my take on that.
All right, beyond the officials appointed from South Africa, Mr. Jimmy, I mean, the Super Eagles en route to this very point that we find ourselves. In fact, most of the players in that squad have not been at the World Cup. It's just few of them, maybe the likes of Ndidi, Alex Iwobi, Truce Ekon, but the bulk of these players have not been at the World Cup. I mean, what will this game hold for them, especially for players such as Victor Osimhen and Lukman Ademola? What will this game hold for them as they go for the final, you know, jigsaw come Thursday?
It's all right. I think it's hold a lot for them. I want you to let's recall into history, and we have a great player, the former president of Liberia, George Okonjo-Iweala, who was one time the world best player, but was never in the world. I think it's one of the regrets he has all over his throughout his career. So I don't know that. I think Osimhen is not ignorant of what I just said. People like Lukman is not ignorant of what I just said. 2 of them are one African best, but this somebody who won world best and never went to the World Cup. So if they are conscious of this, I think they put all they can to ensure that Nigeria triumph. Now coming back to the young bulk of players, a lot of them have never been, very few of them have been to the World Cup. A lot of them have never been to the World Cup. To me, it's football. Whether the World Cup though is a different platform, it's football. You will also agree with me that when Nigeria was going to USA 94, bulk of the players were not also in the world. They've never been to the World Cup, but they went there and showcased what they had. Although you cannot compare that team and this one. So being in the World Cup is going to help. Is going to boost their profile. It's going to increase their market value, and so many things that will come to play. So these players, they know all this, so they are going to put in the best, and it's also going to help Nigeria as a team. Nigeria as a team. So I think that's my own take on this.
All right, Mr. Jimmy, I would have loved us to peruse through that list carefully, but then time might not permit us to go through the gamut. Let's take one sensitive area that so many Nigerian followers and of course Super Eagles followers have been talking about. It's about the goalkeeping position. Stanley Nwabali, some have said that it's no longer that, Stanley Nwabali that people know in the last African Cup of Nations because of the schoolboys' errors that he has been committing these days. In fact, some has called that he should be dropped, and Maduka Okoye, who is in fine form, should take the number one shirt for the goalkeeping position. I don't know what is your take on that. Stanley Nwabali, should he still maintain the number one spot, or you think that inform Okoye should come in?
We need the best. If Nwabali is not meeting up to the standard, football is like I said, football will not wait for you. Football is business.
True.
Football deserves a great nation like Nigeria deserve the best.
True.
So if football does not wait for you, so I have it here, like my people will say, there's a slang in my place. He say I get up before not be reaching. So if I get up before and I don't have it today, it's as good as not having it. So we cannot rely on yesterday glory. No, football does not wait for yesterday glory. So my point is, if Nwabali is falling short of the standard of play, he should be on the bench. After all, Super Eagles goalkeeping position is not his birthright. We're all Nigerians. So if Okoye is better, by evaluating their performance, present performance analysis, then let the best man the goalpost. After all, somebody was there before he came, so he will sit there one day. I think that's my own take on that.
All right, at this point, let's take a quick break. When we are back, we dive straight to Europe. We'll bring you some of the results in the English Premier League. And of course, Arsenal, like I told you, dropped points over the weekend. They are now 4 points ahead of Manchester City, which whitewashed Liverpool 3 goals to nothing. We'll do it to bring you some of these latest developments when we are back. Don't forget, Mr. Jimmy is still with me, and together we are bringing you up to speed with the latest happenings in the world of sport. Don't go anywhere, of course we'll be back in a jiffy. All right, you're welcome back from that short break. You're still onto Atlantic Television Network, and this is Sport Extra, where we talk the extraordinary things happening in the world of sports. My name is Emmanuel Michael, the Prime Minister of the Airways, and I have with me via the Zoom line this evening a big fish. He is a FIFA ambassador, Mr. Jimmy, and the Temple also is on the other side also. Let's talk about the English Premier League because Pep Joseph Salah Guardiola marked his 1,000th match for Manchester City yesterday, when he trashed Liverpool 3-0 to closing the gap on Arsenal on the English Premier League. Tempo, let me bring you in. Pep Guardiola over the weekend got a 3-0 victory over Ancelotti, and that 3 point has taken him very close to the league leaders, talking about Arsenal. Can we now say that Pep Guardiola is gradually recovering or rediscovering his magical mojo?
I think so. From what I saw yesterday, there's no surprise that these guys are in for something big. I watched the game against Liverpool and they dominated the first half. And that reminds me of the City that we all know. Okay? And I'm going to ask myself, where were these guys all this while? So, one thing very certain is, maybe the guys are gradually gelling again. Just maybe. You know? Because when I saw it today, I saw a team that was more compact. I saw a team that that reinvented themselves, and if you look at a team that want to play for Pep, you need to know that these guys are in for something. And be careful when Haaland continues to score in every game. The only time I have not scored in the last 14 games was just once. And that is how prolific a player like that can be. So every time when he touches 4 times, you expect that one of them will be good. And yesterday, I think they dominated Liverpool. They made them look very useless on the pitch. Second half, they had some glimpses. But yes, VAR decision also impacted on the game somehow. But do not take away the effort and the level of play, from Manchester City. And Pep Guardiola deserve all the accolades that comes to a man that has won 730-something matches. That tells you how good he has been from his days in Barca, from his days in Bayern Munich, and his days in Manchester City. I think that he deserves all the cap, all the commune that comes his way.
All right, deserve all the commune that is coming his way, talking about Pep Joseph Salah Guardiola. And of course, Temple mentioned one striking name, talking about Erling Braut Haaland, the goal machine. He was, of course, on the score sheet in that particular game over the weekend. Temple, you mentioned Erling Haaland as one of the best strikers in the world. Erling Braut Haaland, juxtaposition side by side with Victor Osimhen, Harry Kane, Kylian Mbappe. Which of these strikers will you pick first if you were to be a coach of a team?
I think that all of them are the same color. I will not be too patriotic to deny the truth that these guys are just fortunate because of the fact that they come from Europe. And that European mentality is also giving them the favor that they deserve. They're playing their continent. So ordinarily, that should play in. Victor Osimhen is a born hustler. When you look at what he plays, you don't think they're going to have a sort of player in your team. A player that can hustle for ball. I watched carefully yesterday to see how the effort that Erling Braut Haaland puts in. And I discovered that when it comes to average effort displayed in the pitch to get ball and still get the goals, I think that you don't compare Victor Osimhen and Haaland. But somehow the positioning of Haaland makes him very, very strategic. And then the player that he plays along with, gives him an edge. So I think that's what gives them an edge in things like that. The likes of Lewandowski and all of them. But I think that if we get to see Victor Osimhen in a team like Manchester City, he will still play what he's doing in Manchester. He will even do more because he's a born hustler. And he's very, very visible to what we can do. So I think that these guys are just fortunate. Look at when he plays for Napoli. Look at that when he has the guy that gives him the ball. He was able to display and score the goals. Look at what we did with the last season. So it's about having to get those who play with you. Look at Victor Bucharest, who scored arguably something goals in Europe last season, the highest goal scorer in Europe. Look at the players that play with you in Sporting. So all of this matter. When you have players who understand your kind of play, I want to give you the ball because I don't really know is banging in goals. So I just think that in terms of comparison, Erling Braut Haaland is shining because for you to shine. The EPL, every goal you score, gives you an added advantage because it is the highest watched and most exciting league in the world. Everybody knows what is happening in the EPL. How many persons knows what is happening in Galatasaray? So we need to give kudos to Victor Osimhen because it is not easy. It's not easy to be scoring. Recently, he scored a hat-trick. It doesn't come easy at all. Challenging with the big guys. When you look at it, you think that the edge that Brigham has is because he plays in the English Premier League, and that's what people hoping that one day, Victor Osimhen will come and play in the English Premier League because he has paid his dues and needs to come to the elite league where the big boys are.
All right, Mr. Jimmy, I know you are not a fan of the English Premier League, though you follow the game with keen interest. You are a local content, a local brain. You breathe, you value the Nigerian Premier Football League so much. But then, before letting you go, Arsenal, they have been very, very formidable so far this season. In fact, they look as though they are already running away with the English Premier League, looking at the way they have been winning games for fun. But then, over the weekend, they were held to a 2-2 draw by Sunderland. Is this more like a reality check on the Gunners, or you think no cause for alarm?
Yeah, so there's a lot to be concerned about because in the league, winning gives you points. If you draw, you share points, and you lose nothing. So these two having played 2-2 draw with Sunderland, it's what has actually reduced the gap between them and
Manchester City.
You can see that, City seriously catching up, and we pray that whatever has gone wrong with Arsenal in the last match, they should be able to correct it, because if they continue on that note, Man City could catch up, because like my brother just said, the last speaker, Man City is gradually gelling again. They're coming back with their pause. What we know Man City for is actually becoming manifesting again. So it's something they should be concerned about, or else they'll miss it.
All right, something to be concerned about. Mr. Jimmy, if you were to be the owner of Arsenal Football Club, and at the end of the season, Mikel Arteta fails to win the English Premier League or even the UEFA Champions League, will you still retain him as a head coach, or will you let him go?
Yes, I will still retain him. That's my personal opinion. And my reason is this. Since Arteta came on board, he has been able to do a lot. He left, permit me to use this language, that he started from nothing to where he is today. So for me, I love managers who know how to build. Arsene Wenger was like that. So this man has been able to manage the team very well. So I don't pray he loses it at this time. But if he happens to, if I'm the owner of Arsenal, I will retain him because of what he has achieved.
All right, let's wrap it up because we are gradually running out of time this evening. Mr. Jimmy, let me come back home. Still talking about the Nigerian Premier Football League. Remo Stars, the defending champion, they seem to have lost their footings as they have been very, very shaky so far. The likes of Enyiba as well. These are the big guns in the Nigerian Premier Football League. What is the problem with Remo Stars so far this season?
Well, I think I have a very short answer to that. No king reign forever.
No kings reign forever, but then a king just assumed the stood of leadership. Just one meeting, then he failed to hold his stood any longer. That is the case of Remo Stars.
Well, I believe that that's football for you, but that one can also be like likened to the spirit, the position of our league. Because in the past, we cannot see what we are seeing now in our league. Today, you cannot predict the outcome of a match. The era of home must win syndrome is gradually fading away from our league. So if you play well today, irrespective of the fact that you were once a champion, or you are the current champion, or you were past champion, it does not tell. It is what you can offer during the 90 minutes that tells now. So that also gives credit to the appointment committee, the referees appointment committee, That also gives credit to the referees. It also gives credit to the NPFL committee in charge of the league. So that is what you are saying. And so nobody, if you think you've had it all, you discover that at the end of 19 innings you've gotten nothing. Don't like what we are seeing in the EPFL today. So I think we are moving in the right direction.
Are you surprised that Nasarawa United is topping the league table?
No, I'm not surprised. That is what I just said. Because a man who fails and go back to his house and get prepared and ask himself, why have I failed? That man is bound to turn things around. So a man who has arrived and feel there is no point improving also have a reason to remain where he is. So that's what you are saying now, right now.
All right, Temple, your final word before we leave the studio this evening.
I think that Mr. Jimmy is correct in his analysis, but I think that we can do more in the league. We can do more. We love the Nigerian Football League. For me, I don't get tired talking about the Nigerian Football League. But I have some penchant for the league, but you see, we need to do more, and that more begins from us. It begins from the board of the leadership, and it begins from everyone who loves Nigerian football.
All right, this is where we are tempted to drop the curtain for this evening edition of the show. Time always run faster when we are having a good time talking sports on the show this evening. But not to worry, tomorrow morning we'll make a return for Sport Talk right here on Atlantic Television Network. Mr. Jimmy, I want to thank you so much for finding out time out of your busy schedule to join us on the show this evening.
It's my pleasure, bro.
All right, Tempo, I want to also appreciate you for, sticking around this evening. All right, this is where we say arrivederci for the show this evening. I did the show alongside Mr. Jimmy, who joined me. I call him FIFA ambassador, of course, Tempo Ekpo, who also was there to, of course, give us some of those incisive analysis. We'll make a return tomorrow morning for Sport Talk right on Atlantic Television Network. My name is Emmanuel Michael, the Prime Minister of the Airways. You can do well to go down to our different social media handles and, of course, follow us up there. The conversation continues. Up next are some interesting programs coming your way right here on Atlantic Television Network. See you tomorrow morning.